Hey everyone, I'm Sara, and for this practice I'll be guiding us through a sequence to help us to relax and unwind by letting go of any stress and creating a little bit more quiet. So when you're ready, come join me on the mat and we'll begin. So we're going to start today sitting in a comfortable seat, crossing at the ankles and sitting up nice and tall. We're going to rest our hands down onto the knees and just take a moment with the eyes closed or with a soft gaze to arrive onto our mat. Arriving into our practice. Arriving into the body and the mind. Just notice how you feel. Notice whatever has brought you here today. Notice the connection between your body and your mat. And notice your breath. Become aware. And draw that awareness to each inhale and each exhale. Allowing yourself to let go on the exhale. Soften and slow down the breath. And we'll gently begin to blink the eyes open. Bring yourself back into the room. We're going to begin by extending our right leg over towards the right side of the mat and bring the left foot to rest in towards the right leg. Inhale, reach your arms up and overhead, keeping your body pointing forward. Reaching up, lengthen through the sides of the body. Drop your right hand down to the outside of your right foot and begin to sweep the left arm up and overhead. Bring the gaze to look up towards the left arm, so we're keeping a nice opening through the chest. We're not collapsing in, we're opening up. You can have a bit of a bend in the right knee if you need to. And flexing the toes. Repeating back towards your face. Dropping the weight into the left hip. Feeling that opening. Creating more space. Inhale and exhale. Begin to drop the left hand down onto the mat. So you've either hand on either side of the foot. Inhale, lift and lengthen through the chest. Exhale, see if you can sink down just a little bit more. Bringing the gaze to look past your toes. Beginning to go deeper into the hips, into the lower body, to your spine. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Moving over to the opposite side, bring the right leg in, extend the left leg out. Draw the right foot, nestle it in towards the left leg, sitting up nice and tall. Inhale, reach the arms up and overhead, dropping the left arm down, reaching through the right fingertips, opening up deeply to the right side of the body, bringing the gaze up towards the sky, allowing the hips to be heavy. Focus on your breath. Inhale, exhale, drop the right hand to frame your left foot. Begin to twist and look over to the left toes. Exhale, sink down. The knee can be deeply bent here if it needs to be. Allowing the right knee to fall heavy towards the mat. And releasing. Release the muscles and release any tension. Walk the hands back in towards the body. Lift and lengthen through the chest. We're going to draw the right leg a little bit further in towards the body as you bring the left leg to rest on top of the right. So we're coming into cow face pose. So the legs are going to be crossing, one on top of the other. And you roughly want the knees to be falling down towards each other. If this is a little bit too tight for the legs, you can always release the bottom leg out long. Trying to keep the hips nice and level, grounded, rooted down towards the mat. Inhale, reach the right hand up and overhead. Begin to bend at the elbow while you drop your fingers down. Bring your left hand out, bending at the elbow, and see if you can clasp the fingertips. Maybe you can take hold of the fingers. If not, you can take hold of the back of your top or just rest the hands towards each other. Inhale, draw the elbows away from you, lifting through the chest. Gently close the eyes, creating lots of space for the breath to flow. Notice how this side feels. Notice how open the shoulders are. And we'll release the right hand back up and over and release the left back down. And we'll cross over the opposite way. So begin to release the top leg. Moving nice and slowly, the hips can get a little bit tight while we're in cow face. And just cross the opposite one on top. So drop the left knee down, bring the right leg to rest on top. Again, you can have the bottom leg nice and long. It's the same pose, same benefits, just looks slightly different. Sweep the left arm up and overhead, dropping the hand down. Bring the right hand down behind you, maybe clasping the fingers. If you are here with the fingers clasped, make sure that you're not collapsing in, that we're keeping our chest nice and open. If you find that you can't stay nice and open, maybe you've just gone a little bit too far. Close the eyes, soften the shoulders, and notice how this side feels from the last. Find that connection with the ground in your body. Finding that sense of grounding, the stability and support. Release the left arm, release the right. Lovely, you can just take a moment to rest the shoulders down. It can be quite intense on the shoulders and the chest. Just take a moment to acknowledge and notice how it feels. From here, we're going to make our way into tabletop. We're going to walk the hands out in front of you, coming along on your mat. Your wrists are going to be in line under the shoulders, and your knees are going to be in line under the hips. We're going to make our way into puppy pose. So you might want to walk towards the back of the mat so you've got lots of space out in front of you. Begin to walk the hands forward on the mat as you sink your chest down towards the mat, resting down onto the chin, allowing the chest to drop through the arms. If that's a bit intense, you can always rest down onto the forehead. If your shoulders are a little bit too tight, walk the arms a little bit further apart from each other. The closer they are together, the tighter this pose is on your shoulders. Stretching the arms forward. Stretching through the body. Lengthen through the chest. Gently coming out of the pose, begin to lift the gaze away from the mat. Walk the hands back towards the body. Then begin to sit back towards the heels. Walk the knees as wide as you comfortably can. So maybe the knees come off the mat, just until you feel an opening through the hips. And begin to walk the hands forward away from you and drop down into our wide leg child's pose. You can rest the forehead down onto the mat and sink the hips back towards the heels. Noticing how the lower back feels. Staying here, or if you want to take it deeper, You can bring the legs into frog pose by bringing the feet apart, bringing the ankles behind the knees, dropping the knees wide. And again, you can rest back down onto the forehead. We'll just be here for a few breaths. Release on the exhale. And bring the gaze away from the mat. Walk the hands back towards the body. Bring the knees together. And sitting up on our heels, we're going to bring our legs out in front of us. Sweep the legs over to one side. Bring the feet out in front of you. Coming into Baddha Konasana. Soles of the feet touch, knees drop heavy. Keeping a nice long space in between the legs and the sitting bones. Bring the arms out nice and wide. Closing the arms, bring them into eagle. Draw the right hand onto the left. See if you can bring the palms to touch. If not, you can just maybe taking hold of the thumb or the wrist. If you don't have the bind, you can just keep the hands together. Reach the elbows up and away. Draw the hands away from the face. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, fold forward. And here we're going to find some stillness and some quiet. Focus on the breath. Focus on the space between your shoulders. Exhale gently, softly and slowly. Begin to come out of the pose. Begin to draw the arms back up. Release the grip. Release the arms. Bring the feet planting on the mat. Walk them in a little bit closer to you and embrace the legs. Allow the gaze to drop. Inhale, lengthen through the spine, drop the shoulders. And from here, you can make your way into your Shavasana, lying down flat on the mat, on your back, or maybe into a comfortable seat, just where you'd like to finish your class today. If you're lying on the mat, begin to nestle the shoulder blades under the body, palms face up. Close the eyes and soften the entire body. Begin to draw your awareness down through the body as you notice the weight of the body. Notice the points that connect with your mat. Notice if you feel more open and more released. And draw your awareness to your toes. Noticing the heel that melts into the mat. And soften the muscles to the backs of the legs. As you notice the weight of the hips hanging heavy. Become aware of the lower back as the lower spine peels away, and soften the muscles of your belly. Allow your shoulders to become heavy. Allowing the back of the neck to naturally peel away from the mat and to the back of the head as it melts deeply down to the ground. Draw your awareness to your face, the space between your eyebrows, and soften the muscles to your face. And this is where I'll leave you today. Spend as long as you can here. Thank you very much for joining me for today's practice. I look forward to seeing you again very soon. Namaste.